criticism online, do you read the comments? Do you ignore the comments? Do you reply to them? What is your kind of take on it?
I'd say I've gotten to the point now where I'll see them and it doesn't really bother me. Whereas potentially when I just started playing for Scotland, I'd look at comments and I'd see a comment being made here and there, like he's not good enough, he's not Scottish, and sometimes these things can get to your head and have a big effect on your performance, because like all of a sudden you've got doubt in yourself, and which is tough to take. But I'm at the point of my career where I just laugh it off, mate, because at the end of the day, like it's all about what my teammates think of me, and if the coaches back me, then I believe in myself, because otherwise they wouldn't back me. Do you know what I mean? And give me an opportunity. So I see these comments and I just laugh it off, because at the end of the day, like, you don't even know who's making these comments. It's probably someone that hasn't even played rugby in their life before, like, making these comments. And unfortunately in this life, mate, like you can never keep everyone happy. It's just how it is, like, and you just have to accept it. But I guess sometimes it's a bit tough on some people, like, would potentially read more into it, and I can't think that that's nice, especially when you're playing for Scotland and you've got your people, your fans, whatever, making some comments about, like, why is he starting again? Like, we need someone else. He's not been playing well. And you see these kind of things. All you want to do is give your best for Scotland. You're not going to go into a game and not give it your all. And I guess that's what fans and people have to understand. Like, you go into the game to give it your all. And sometimes we are human beings. We make mistakes. It's normal. These things happen. Sometimes you have an off day, and yeah, it's not great when you have an off day, because it almost feels like you're letting the team down. So when you have a bad game, it's pretty tough afterwards. But then again, you have to move on so quickly, mate, because you've got a weekend to be like, yeah, I've had a shit game. It is what it is. I've got an opportunity this week to change that, have a better game, and get on with it, mate. Because if you keep on thinking, oh shit, I've dropped the ball last week, like, going into this game, like, my high balls aren't really good, I'm stressing, I dropped. That's not the right attitude to go into a game. So for me, it's just, mate, don't really look into it, even if I do. But because nowadays you can't escape it. Like, right, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on Facebook. I love my Facebook, because I always watch Apex or Call of Duty, because I'm a bit of a gamer. So I always look at the best gun. What's the best gun to use? Like, these kind of bits. And then you see some podcast or whatever, like, popping up, and you like see people like chatting stuff about you. And so nowadays, like, it's everywhere, mate. Like, I feel like, it all depends from person to person, but myself, I don't really care, mate. It is what it is.
I feel like, though, if like people don't need to point out mistakes. Like, see, if I make a mistake while recording a video, I know that I've made the mistake, and I would be just as tough on myself as like other people would be on me. Like, are the team quite good for that? Like, if somebody cocks up in the rugby game, which is everyone does it, are they all quite good at being like, listen, you fucked up, you'll get it next time, don't worry about it?
Yeah. I remember I went through a challenging period, last year. Whenever I made a mistake, I'd be head down. I'd be, I'd probably be out of the game for 20 minutes. And, players and coaches started realizing that. And so that was one of the biggest things I had to work on, is like, I'm a human being, I'm normal, I am going to make a mistake, but it's just to move on. And sometimes you have these players around you that can see you, but, head down. And I remember we played France in a warm-up game just before World Cup, and I made a mistake and was completely head lost, and made another mistake on top of that. And now I must imagine where my head's at. I'm just thinking, like, someone else come on the pitch, because, like, I'm head lost. Like, I might as well not be playing. I remember Finn coming up to me, he's like, Dewey, mate, it's fine. Next job. Have a positive action. And, him coming up to me, I was just like, you know what? Like, we are humans. We are going to make mistakes. It's about next job. It's just getting on with it. And I think that really helped me. Because sometimes it can get quite challenging, mate, when you feel out there alone, making mistakes, and that's why teammates are absolutely brilliant, because they know you. And that's where we as teammates try and help each other out, because when you make a mistake, it's not on purpose, mate. It's like you were trying something, unless it's something really stupid, like whatever. But we all make mistakes, so it's about you going up to your teammate, just patting him on the back and saying, mate, like sometimes just laugh it off.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, come on, next job. You know what I mean? That's the nice thing about like being in a team sport.
And it's a good attitude to have. I think, especially when it's coming from like Finn Russell has these moments where he's clearly trying something that's never been done before, and he has no idea whether it'll work. And like normally, because it's Finn,
he probably pull it off, mate.
And everyone's like, "How the fuck did you do that?"
Yeah.
But then there's stuff that's out with your. This is what I was going to ask you. There's sometimes things that happen within a game that's out with your control, and it can be quite demotivating. For example, the France try that was allowed in the Six Nations. What are your opinions on that?
That was a tough one to take, because I felt we were pretty much in control of the game up to about 60, 65 minutes. I thought, we've got this one in the bag, and then for some reason we stopped playing, and France put us under pressure. They managed to score at the end, and we knew that we had to score next. And at the end of the day, the ref's decision is his decision. I remember at the time was absolutely fuming, but the ref's only going to make the decision on what he sees and what he feels. So like, you talk to Sam Skin, and he was like, "Oh, mate, definitely got it done." But at the end of the day, the pitches aren't clear for the refs to make that decision. And you just like thinking, if we beat France, all of a sudden we 2 from 2 and full of confidence, because we felt like we potentially were the better team on the day, and we should have probably closed the game earlier, but we let him back in, and that's all on us. But I guess the toughest thing was having a couple of days off, because we had a bye week after France. Sitting with that, like seeing it everywhere on social media, and you're just like, oh, what could have been? Do you know what I mean? And that was very challenging to take, because like, you can see clearly the ball's down, but obviously they see different pictures. So that was very tough.
It's hard on the ref as well, because as you said, like they have one line of sight. I was in the pub that day with the guys, and everyone was going ballistic.
Yeah, the ball's down.
You
can see it there. Come on there.
Yeah,
like we could see it as well. So it's tough, because like pictures is there for us. You can see it, but then the ref probably sees a different picture or doesn't really agree with it, and then all of a sudden you're like, but how can you make that call when the pictures for us is clear?
And he changed his decision as well. Like he went, oh no, that's disallowed, and then he went, actually
wait a
review the
minute.
footage.
So that, I guess, because it took so long as well, like it could have come down to a try or no try. I think if it was a quick decision, then probably wouldn't
like ripping the plaster off.
It wouldn't have been so tough. But I think because they kept on going back and forward, it was a pretty tough one to take. And then again, like obviously refs have to make the right decisions, but shame they actually get a lot of stick, mate, and a lot of you could see over the last couple of months, like all the abuse the refs are getting, because at the end of the day, like they want to make the right decision, but again, you're not going to keep everyone happy. So like it's pretty tough on them, mate, to be honest.